God is able. God is truly able. I think one of the biggest problems is we try to tell God how he need to do it. You know, I find myself doing that all the time. God, this is how you going to do this. And I'm sure every time God laughs and goes, okay, so that means you, God, big G, and I'm little g, so I need to just listen to what you say when it's really the other way around. You know, and it's crazy because we do this. And we do it so nonchalantly. We do it just so easily. We literally tell God what we're going to do, when we're going to do it, how we're going to do it, with whom we're going to do it with. God to tell us, hey, I need you to go over to sister so-and-so's house, brother so-and-so's house, and just sit there and conversate with them. I really just don't roll with them, God. You know, they just ain't my peoples. God be like, now I got a blessing for them and for you if you just do what I say. But now we want to all of a sudden all of a sudden God don't become God no more. I wonder when I get to heaven how many times God will sit me down and say, let me show you this, Joe. I need to show you this scene of your life where you literally said, that can't be God. That's got to be the devil. I denounce you, Satan. And it was really God talking. It was really God talking. But you so caught up in, it can't be God talking because God didn't give it to me the way I thought it should have been given to me. God said, go down the street, stand at the corner, feed the homeless. God, you didn't say that because that's just not what I do. Go down the street, stand at the corner, feed the homeless. God, that's not what I do. That can't be God. Let me think about this. That sounds like the devil trying to set me up. I wonder how many times God tell us something, and because it doesn't fit to what we think it needs to fit to, we convince ourselves that wasn't God talking. And then we wonder why the blessing don't manifest. I'm just curious. I don't know why I'm going down this path because it was not what I was planning on doing. And I'm keeping my word. I'm not going to go left, right. But it's just, all day long I've asked myself, what if God told you to do something that totally did not fit your character or who you was, and you did it? Not my will, but thy will be done. I mean, just ask you, what if God told you to go reconcile with somebody you wasn't even, you say, oh, God, are you lost your earthly mind? But God really said that. The reason I wanted to tell y'all God is able, I'm going to give y'all a lot of I studied this a little bit at work today, and I think I know now why God was doing this, because God had to show me something. So by showing me, he's going to show you, and we're all going to learn together. So can you imagine, I'm just going to give you some few examples. Can you imagine you being Abraham, the man of God of Abraham? And God gives you some specific instructions. Hey, Abraham. Hey, God, what's happening? First of all, these people you hanging around, they my family, God. Yeah, you need to get away from them. What? They my peoples. I got my peoples with me. You heard the song before, God? Yeah, I heard the song. I know it. I got my peoples with me. Yeah, I know, but you don't need your peoples with you where I'm about to take you to. So I got to let my peoples go? Yeah, you got to let your peoples go. And you get crazy enough to say, well, it's between my family and God, and you know, family you lose, God you win. So you leave your peoples. And you say to yourself, woo, God, hey, I'm feeling better. Some great things are happening. Man, that was a good move, God. I'm glad I listened to you. I didn't really want to listen to you, but I listened to you. I left my peoples, went into a strange land, and then God comes back to you and said, got something else for you. You do? Yeah. Need you to take that boy that you've been, I know it's been hard for you to have Sharon. I know. No, it was hard. Yeah, it was pretty hard, guys. It was a long time. We were up in age when this child showed up. I need you to take that child and kind of give him back to me. What? Wait a minute. First I had to leave my peoples. Now I got to give you my child. I mean, just think about that. Think about that. You know, think about if that was you. God tells you tonight, I need you to leave Lafayette. I need you to leave your peoples. Then God 6 months later tells you, I need you to take your child and sacrifice your child to me. Now we stand in here in this holy habitation and we jump up and down and say hallelujah. And, you know, y'all know I don't preach nowhere close like Bishop. I can't call you by your name because I'm not good with names like that. But something just hit me in my spirit to say, what happened? God is telling you exactly what to do for his glory and there's a blessing connected to it, but you're so caught up in that can't be for me. But God is able. So if God is really able, okay, let's throw him to the side. We talked a little bit about Abraham. Let that marinate in your head while I talk about another guy. Imagine you're Moses, Prince of Egypt. Now this one's going to be really good for somebody here. Because you got it all. You Pharaoh's son. You Pharaoh's son. You Pharaoh's most beloved son. He loves you more than the son that he made himself. But all of a sudden, because of the blood that runs in your veins, the revelation has been brought forth that the people your father that you love so dearly is persecuting is your people. So in this word, so I'm in Exodus now. I left from Genesis and went to Exodus. And don't ask me why I'm preaching like this tonight. Somebody must be about to get some deliverance. So, you know, I'm not, and I need to go back and start giving y'all some scriptures because Bishop would probably be like, Joe, you didn't even tell him what to read. But in Genesis is the story, of course, of Abraham and Isaac. And as you go further, you'll even find the story of Moses. But understand this, God is able, and I cannot, even though it's not recorded in Holy Scripture, believe that these men, and I'm going to bring up a woman of God who did the same thing, didn't question, God, why are you doing this? Because this is uncomfortable. So right now, somebody need to say this again. God is able. God is able. Okay. So in this season of being uncomfortable with whatever you're being uncomfortable with, you need to say, God is able. God is able. So allow then God to guide you, and you then stop trusting yourself. Say, God is able. God is able. I said something today to a friend of mine, and it blew my head. I said, you know, you don't get to the place that this man got to. His brother was in Angola, convicted of murder. Now he's a professor in college. He's a college professor teaching, healthy. Sometimes I say, man, I wish I could lift weights and look like you, but healthy brother. But somewhere along the line, you know, he told himself that these eyes and these ears and this nose and all my seven senses have been lying to me. Somewhere he literally told himself, everything I see, smell, hear, touch, taste is lying to me. Because 15 years in Angola, I didn't sit down and talk to him, and a couple of times he told me how people just told him, bro, you're going to die here in Angola. Yeah, Chachi. You know, somebody literally said, man, you're going to die here. You know, this brother was on death row. You know, I went to death row. I went to death row just to see. Death row ain't where you want to be. So, you know, the conversations, I can hear probably every night somebody going, you know, tonight you're going to die. And all of a sudden, he just said, you know, all these senses that God gave me are lying to me because tonight I will not die. Because God is able. Somebody say that again. The holidays are not happy for everyone. And you got to look at that as that's a choice. You chose not to be happy. Because you have a choice in everything. The Bible said, choose you this day You know, they say the power of life and death lies within your tongue. Watch what you speak to yourself. Forget what you speak to others. Watch what you speak to yourself. How many of you wake up in the morning and tell yourself that today is going to be a blessed day? You know, I think sometimes we're so busy trying to tell other folks how to get themselves right that we ain't getting our own selves right. And I've come to discover it's hard to love somebody if you don't love yourself. And are you just saying God is able? And don't just say it because I told you to say it. You got to start believing that God is able. See, and once again, God has revealed in his word, and if, like I said, some of you follow me on social media, so you know I put this big testimony on social media that I did not want to put on social media, but a very good friend of mine who's a pastor who works with me walked up to me and said, man, you need to share your testimony with somebody. And I said, what testimony is that? And he said, the testimony of all the great things that you're doing over here at the sheriff's department. I said, bro, that sounds very braggadocious. He said, you don't even see God in what you're doing. That hurt my little feelings. I went back to my little office like this. I said, he got a lot of nerves. Pastor. You know, but when I got to my office, I felt like there was an angel in my office that ministered to me and said, it ain't about you. It never was about you. None of it has been about you. None of it ever was about you. And I was messed up. Because I said, at 52 years old, I'm supposed to be smarter than this. And then it was revealed to me, your age ain't got nothing to do with it. God gonna move when God wanna move. And you just got to be in a place of knowing and recognizing and have enough discernment to understand when God is moving. And don't question the move, just move with it. Knowing that God is able. That means if the bullets start flying and you moving where God told you to move, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou is with me. So do you not think that wasn't going to get challenged somewhere? Have you noticed the closer you try to get to God, the more trouble starts knocking at your door? But here's the crazy thing. We too many times, when trouble starts knocking, we want to start knocking back instead of just staying on the path. You know, I used to laugh about that when I was in the Army. They used to have an obstacle course. And when you went through the course, they tell you, stay on the path. Don't, if you go 1 foot to the left or 1 foot to the right, you're in trouble. And sure enough, you do that. You go 1 foot to the left or 1 foot to the right, and you get hit. Bam! Oh! But after I made it through the course, and older one time, and I was the person behind the course telling another young cadet, now look, stay on the path. What the cadet didn't know, because I then had the knowledge, is that if you stay on the path, they actually got every obstacle on there so short that if you go 1 foot to the, that's the only way you're going to get hit. As long as you stay on that path, all that mess you hearing, all the booms and the bows and the bangs ain't going to touch you. Because it's literally, the stick ain't big enough. It's like you literally got to come where the stick can boom. And if you go, if you stay on the path, you'll hear the stick coming, but it won't touch because it's not long enough. And that's the problem. We don't stay on the path. We don't, when trouble comes, we feel like we got to say something to trouble. We in a society where we got to have the last word. There's some times I believe God has put you in a place where God said, be still and know that I am God. You need to be still. Let God talk. God can talk much better than I can talk. God can shut down stuff much better than I can shut down stuff. But now we got to shut it down. I'm telling you, some of us, I believe, when trouble comes, that is all of a sudden our opportunity to bring out the inner actor and actresses in all of us. It's like all of a sudden you can have a family situation going on, everything good. All of a sudden something gets a little loud. All of a sudden somebody goes, What's your problem? What you mean? What? It's like, oh, action, action. What you mean? What my problem? God is able, but you got to submit yourself unto his will and his way. And you have to know that you got to put all your trust in the Lord, no matter how crazy it sounds. So that lets me know I don't know who you are. I don't know all of you by name. Most of you, I really don't know anybody's name. I'll be honest, I'm terrible with names. Somebody in here has had God tell them something totally ridiculous. I don't know who you are. Might be multiple somebodies in here that had God tell y'all something totally ridiculous. That literally you are questioning, is that really God who told me that? I'm going to tell you how you're going to know it's God. Here's how you're going to know it's God. You're just going to have to take that leap of faith. That's how you know it's God. See, I love God so much lately that I even believe if it wasn't God and I take the leap of faith, God loves me so much he still ain't going to let. Look, I believe if I take the leap of faith and it wasn't God, God going to give me wings and I'm going to fly away. I'm not going to hit the rock bottom. That's how much God loved me. So whatever it is, I don't know if it's a business, I don't know if it's a relationship situation, I don't know if it's going back to school, I don't know what this is. I don't know even why I'm talking like this. So God help me. But listen, if God is really able, if he's told you to do something that sounds totally ridiculous, listen, especially this one, and I don't know why I'm on this. Please, I don't know why I'm on this. If God has really told you to mend a relationship with whomever it is, but you so caught up on what they did to you, listen, mend that relationship. It ain't about you. It ain't about you. It really ain't about you. It has nothing to do with you. You will set yourself free and set them free and allow God to open up a window and he's going to pour out a blessing that you cannot withstand if you do exactly what God told you to do. Stop telling God when God tells you to go say something to somebody, not them, God. I can't stand them. Because you know what God could come around and tell you? Do you know how many times a day the devil comes to me and says, today's the day, let me whoop her head. Let me whoop his head. And guess what I tell him? No, that's my child that I dearly love. You ain't whooping nothing today, partner. Imagine how many times that God literally sends angels to fight your battles for you. Not because you deserve it, it's because he loves you that much. Why the devil's steadily going, really, dog? Her, him, really? Really? You gonna bless him? He don't come to church. He don't really love you. You know, I'm serious. I can literally see how the devil be throwing it down, because I see how we throw down on folks. I get people all the time walking my office. I'll be like, well, we ought to give them probation. Parole? You really want to give them parole? Look at these charges, man. Here's the best one. Had they did this to your mother. You know, I'm glad I couldn't have been Jesus. First strike of the whip. Ah, okay, God. Do what you will. I'm good. I'm good. That's how much he loved you. He took the beat down. He took the mockery. We can aspire to be as close to Jesus as we possibly can, but we're never going to be Jesus. Sorry, I got bad news for you. You ain't never going to be that perfect. You ain't even going to be close. But start putting more trust in God, especially in this season. Some of y'all right now probably trying to figure out how y'all going to pay for some gifts. Trust God, because God is able. Some of y'all probably trying to figure out how y'all going to actually do this Christmas meal without a certain person, maybe not at the table or not at the house. Or man, trust God, because God is able. And this is going to be the craziest thing I'm going to say right now. Some of you going to get it, some of you won't. Maybe one morning you need to wake up early and get your good self in front of your mirror and say, God, forgive me. Deliver me from whatever it is that I done did that I don't even know I done did. Because sometimes you piss off people, you don't even know you pissed them off. You running around trying to figure out why so-and-so ain't speaking to you when you done did something you didn't even know you did. An offense you made. I give you one of the best offenses. I do this all the time. I got a bad habit of speaking to folks, but I won't speak to some other folks because I really didn't see this person. I really didn't. So I come in, hey, sister, how you doing? This sister here, hotter than high-end pepper, because she's like, Minister Joe just walked right by me. Minister Joe didn't say nothing to me. Minister Joe problem with me today. Not knowing, it's maybe the Spirit just said, come and hug. She need a hug today. Didn't say you need a hug. Didn't say that you might not need one. But it just, that's sometimes how it works. And now all of a sudden you have offense with your brother or sister over nothing. I swear to God, if y'all would sit down and think about some of these offenses y'all have with one another, you ask yourself, am I really the Christian I say I am? And look, I got to say this too. So tonight's just my rant night. We're going to call it Bible study rant. Y'all got to stop coming to church trying to put on these shows. Point blank, period. And you got to know that you where you're supposed to be. Thank you. That came from the Holy Spirit. Because if you're not a tree planted by still waters, it's easy for any storm to come and just blow you any which way. And you got to know when God say what God said, and you got to do what you got to do, and you got to do it with no ambiguity. That's a big word that means you got to do it with no regrets, I use that word. I heard that word somewhere, and I had to look it up. But that means no regrets, no problem. Just do it. Do it. And don't care. See, stop doing stuff caring what people say. You can't do God's work and be concerned about what people got to say. People will hate on you doing God's work. People will hate on you if you get more shine than they are doing God's work. People will hate on you just to hate on you. Some people will hate on you and it has nothing to do with what you're doing with God. Some people will hate on you even when you out there in them streets, they hate on you. So some people are just natural haters. Haters are what they are. That's their job. You know why they hate? They hate where God can get you to a place where you can have alligator skin and hate don't bother you. I promise you, when folks are hating on you, God is preparing you for something. I know this for a fact. When folks are hating on you, God is preparing you for something. I don't know what it is. God is about to elevate you to a position, a place where all you can do, when they start, you can be, man, please, I dealt with that before. That don't bother me. And you can go ahead and do your task. Listen, somebody about to get a blessing in this house. I don't know who it is. I don't know who it is. Listen, right now, okay, I see what this was all about. Okay, thank you, Holy Spirit. Okay, so listen. So we're about to bring this thing to a close. But I want to say this. Okay. You've been praying, fasting, and believing. You got it. Don't talk yourself out of your blessing. Don't move off the path because you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Keep going the way God told you to go. And say this, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou is with me. And you got to believe that. You got to believe that if they let you go at your job, if God closes one door, He's about to open up a bigger door. For His glory. You just going to get the crumbs off the table, and the crumbs off the table going to be so good that you're going to feel like God blessed you, even though it was all in His plan. I'm going to make y'all laugh about something. My married people in here, or anybody who's in a relationship in here, will feel me on this. I have literally asked God, why didn't it work out with her? Because God knows better for you than you know for yourself. I literally had to sit down one day and start writing certain things down. And I'm not bragging or boasting on my wife. I'm just being truthful. So First Lady will probably go back and say, you know, your husband really love you. But I can literally, and this is my second marriage, so know where I'm coming from, and I have no fear with this. Even though I've made amends with my ex-wife, there are some situations in my life that I know now. Had I not been married to my wife, Danica, certain things physically had happened to my body with diabetes. If she hadn't been my wife, I would have been dead. So God knew better for me than I knew for myself. Now that's crazy, because you know, you'll have certain folks that'll look at you and say, I don't understand Joe and Danica, who know me. I'm 52, my wife 42. There's 10 years between us. Now, you want to get the next joke, my oldest son, 32. So there's 10 years between them. And my oldest son adores my wife. Sometimes talks to her more than he talked to his own mother. More than he talked to me. I'll be like, what we done did to you except give you life? You know, but sometimes you look at shiny objects and things, and listen, the only reason you're looking at them the way you're looking at them is because in your mind, it ain't, you know what's best for you. You just wanted to look a certain way or be a certain way. Not for you, but for other folk. See, I'm convinced that 80% of the folk who live in the house they live in, driving the car they drive, ain't really doing that because that's really what they want. They're doing it for other folk. See, that's just like with churches. And don't get me wrong, I have nothing bad to say about anybody's church. But I tell people this. I know this from my own testimony. When you're in a big church, you can hide a lot of your own sins in a big church. You can just blend in with the crowd and be happy-go-lucky and say, I go to church every Sunday and Wednesday. Praise Jesus. You know where I go to? Because I did that in Baton Rouge. I went to the biggest church in the state of Louisiana and was messed up. Messed up. Highly articulate, very educated, very good looking. If you saw me and my ex-wife back then with our children, you would say that's a model family. We were all messed up. All messed up. So bigger ain't always better. But better is always bigger. So I say that because really it's tugging on my heart that God has done told somebody here to make amends with somebody. I know. Whew, if anybody knows, Joe knows it's hard to forgive certain folk. Because my whole life has been a life of having to forgive people. Mother birthed me, wrapped me up, threw me underneath the house. I had to forgive her. Hardest thing I ever did. Hardest thing I ever did. And it was crazy. I was madly in love with my mother, but could not forgive her. Could not forgive her. I'm in Memphis, Tennessee. This may be let me see, me and Danica have been married 8 years. It took me 4 years of marriage. 4 years of marriage, and my wife had never even seen the city I was born in. That's how hot I was. I was hot. Hotter than cayenne pepper. Hotter than y'all seasoned food sometime. I was hot. And didn't know I was mad. Didn't know I was mad. My wife would be like, when we going to Memphis? I don't know, soon. I was mad. Y'all got to learn how to let certain things go and really let go and let God. Because you hurting other folk. Hurting other folk. Because you mad. You upset. You angry. That's not God's way. That's not God's way. I just came to talk to y'all on this night because, listen, some of y'all, God done told y'all some things. I feel it in my spirit. God done told you. He either done told you to start a business. Now you question how we going to do it. He done told you to help a certain person. You saying you don't want to help that person because that person ain't worthy of the help. He done told you go forgive somebody or show somebody some love, and you go, I can't show that person some love after all they done did to me. Because I know that feeling. I know that feeling. I know that feeling. Trust me, when somebody once, before my mother passed away, somebody literally told me, you need to come meet me. We're going to drive straight to your mama's house, and if we got to kick the door in, she going to look you dead in your eye. And I was like, if I got to do it that way, it ain't going to be done. Not knowing that could have been God's sign right there to give her breakthrough. See, you get so caught up in you don't know that God might be trying to set somebody else free. And he needs you to do what he told you to do to set them free. But you so caught up in what's in it for me. And if you don't know what's in it for you, you ain't going to do it. That's real talk. That's real talk. You know, you don't know. I'm going to have to hit my brother one time. I only got 2 of us in here, so I'm going to hit one of you. Brother Young's a prime example. Brother Young is a lot like me in this one way. When I give you something, it's from the heart. I don't need no outside hip hip hooray. I don't need you to tell everybody. Now, if you do, that's you. Because I done seen Bishop do that to Brother Young a few times, and I could feel it in the spirit. And I had to come and tug on my bishop because I love him. Hey, man, I don't know if that was good that you just let the world know about Brother Young like that. You know, and Bishop going to be Bishop because Bishop the angel of his house. So I ain't going to override Bishop on too many things. But Brother Young, just like me, if I do it from my heart. But him doing it from his heart, he don't know how many blessings he opened up for himself. See, sometimes when you just throw something out there and say, man, I don't care. Whatever happens, happens. That's when God says, now that, see, in the Bible it talk about, you remember Cain and Abel? That's what the killing was over. One gave a sacrifice. God said, that was a sacrifice. The other one gave a sacrifice that in manly eyes was better than the first sacrifice, but it didn't come from the right place. See, when you give certain things, it need to come from the right place. See, you can give me a new car and not come from the right place, and we're going to have problems. You can give me $5 to put some slippers on my feet and come from the right place, and guess what? I'm doing better than that person rolling in the bins. Because I got blessed with something that was a real blessing. See, a blessing that was felt from the heart. See, there's some things money can't buy. Somebody might need to hear that in this season. Something that money can't buy. I need y'all to say it one more time. God is able. If God told you to do it, God going to take you through it. And he's going to give you everything you need to get through it. Right now, one of my most favorite Christmas things, they always show these little puppet things on TV with Rudolph and them, and they got that one where they say put one foot in front of the other. That's what God's asking you to do. See, you got to trust God. You know what? If God tells you to step into darkness and your first foot go down and you don't fall down, that's God. Say, thank you, Jesus. So here's what we do. God say, step out into that darkness, and you go, oh, okay. Man, it's really, really dark over there, though. Well, you should have never took that first step. Because God's just saying, trust me. Come on. I'm here the whole time. You don't know where God trying to get you to, what God tried to do, and who God's got that he's trying to set free through what you have to go through to set them free. Stop making it be about you. I hate that I'm not on the radio. God knows I wake up every morning gritting my teeth. But then I go to work, and some young man who just got 15 years in jail, whose wife and kids ain't going to see husband or children for 15 years, all of a sudden a file comes across my desk and says, there is a way that I can get this man out of jail. Now, I don't know the dude. And then I got that double-edged sword. I go, let me see what he did. And then when you see what they did, you go, ooh, how the victim family going to feel? But God said, I put you here for a reason. I didn't ask you to look to the left. Look at that. And then I go to my person. I go, Judge, look at this. Maybe we need to think about this. Have you thought about this? Have you considered this? Have you looked at this law? And he goes, well, what do you think? I don't know what I think. But have we given him an opportunity? See, here's the crazy thing. When somebody commits a deadly sin against you, you want them to get the maximum punishment. When you commit a deadly sin against somebody else, you want maximum forgiveness. You the first one here laid out. Ah, Jesus, help me, Lord. But if the same person who just did to you, I got a saying. How many of y'all seen me write my saying on Facebook? If I pulled a you on you, how would you feel? If I pulled a you on you, how would you feel? Deliver us, Lord. All right, so I didn't give no scriptures. I don't know what's going on. And we're about to get up out of here. So in these next 10 minutes, let me remind y'all again what Bishop wanted me to remind y'all of, which is the following Sunday. Let me, all these.